Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Conversations from the Hearth. We've got a very exciting episode today. We are joined by Grandmaster Juarez and Grandmaster Fillmore, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the Bushikan. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being
here. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, it's a great honor to have you guys. We met you was it last week? Last weekend or
Saturday?
Yeah,
it feels so long ago.
At our tournament up there at the Karate State Championship with Grandmaster Villareal. It was a great honor to be there, and it was awesome to meet you guys. We did a little special Bushikan competition right after the tournament. I think it was a resounding success. I think everyone who was left in attendance was blown away by just the energy of it, and we are very excited to learn more about the Bushikan and how we can get involved with you guys. But before we get started, can you introduce yourselves a little bit to our audience and let them know, how did you get started in the martial arts? Where are you right now? What are your kind of your immediate plans?
Okay, I'll start, Mike. I'm Grandmaster Nicholas Juarez. As far as martial arts, I've probably been involved since I was 8 years old. I opened my first martial arts school at the age of 16, actually, and went pro as a fighter at 17.
Sure.
Had a pretty successful career in Texas as far as AOK, and then, of course, I was an NBL champion. I was part of a team that represented Texas in the 90s called the Texas Wild Boys, which, of course, Grandmaster Fillmore was part of the team, and Grandmaster Larry Lockhart. We took on the circuit. We were very successful. We're number one rated team in the U.S. Had a good time. Go ahead, sir.
I said we're number one rated team in the world.
In the world, sorry, yes. Anyway, good times with the Wild Boys. Went on from there to open up a few more gyms. Had Texas Combat Sports Centers when I started transitioning from traditional martial arts education to a little bit more combat. I was getting into cage fighting. Didn't know that I was doing it for myself, but didn't know that as was coming back home, a lot of young people in Austin were also wanting to do the same thing. So at one point, I started a professional MMA team called Capital Punishment, and we had about 25 fighters strong at one point. So there were times we could do 10 fights on a card, and you'd find 10 Capital Punishment fighters on the card. So a lot of experience, but my love was always in the more traditional martial arts. And with Bushikan, we're trying to bring a little bit of that competition back.
Yes,
Mike.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Mike Fillmore. I have been studying the martial arts since 1973. So I guess that's a little over 50 years I've been involved in the martial arts. I've trained in several martial arts. I've trained in Taekwondo, Hapkido, Karate, Muay Thai, Filipino martial arts, Kaji Kimbo, Kung Fu, and several others. I have gotten high damn rankings in just about all those. I'm a 14-time world champion. Again, we competed in the NBL circuit, and it had 3 circuits. At the international circuit, it had the national circuit, and the regional circuit. So as Mr. Juarez was saying, we were a national champion, but we are also international, national, and regional champions as well.
yes, sir.
Okay. I did a stint in kickboxing and Muay Thai. I was rated in top 10 in the world in WKA in Muay Thai and kickboxing. I was a Taka, Texas champion. And I did that for many years until I got a little injured. Well, I really didn't get injured that bad, but my wife at the time said, "Hey, look, you're getting hurt, and we got a child to raise, so I don't want you to back off." So I did, and that's when I got back into the tournament continuous sparring, and I had a good run at that. I won the continuous NBL continuous world champion title 3 times with NBL. So we have a lot of fun with that, and that's why I'm involved with Bushikan today.
Yes,
That's
sir.
awesome. Wow, you guys have illustrious careers. That's really an honor to have you on the show.
Mm.
Can you tell us about the Bushikan? I mean, I really know nothing, and I think that's a place to start because a lot of our students are not going to know very much either. But I will say, just to preface this, that I was really impressed with your guys' demeanor, and I think that's a really great starting point. I've been kind of 1 foot in traditional martial arts, 1 foot in MMA for most of my life, and I've met some wonderful people on both sides, but I'll say that the people that I most gravitate towards are in that traditional camp, and it's really refreshing to see people like you that kind of have 1 foot in either world that can kind of navigate that and bring some of that respect, that discipline, that honor back to combat sports. So tell us a little bit about the Bushikan.
Sir.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you first off for inviting us today to be on and having your students compete last weekend. You guys did a great showing with us. From what you saw, that's exactly what we're looking for. The Bushikan Combat Sports is a sparring league. It is going to be a continuous contact, but there are some differences. For one, we do allow the inner and outer kicks to the thighs. We do allow some ground fighting for up to about 3 to 5 seconds. The platform originally is designed for our young martial arts competitors, like point fighters or continuous contact fighters, to navigate their way to, if they're deciding to move into more MMA or kickboxing, the Bushikan combat allows them to develop their striking a little bit more, because there is opportunity for grapplers to compete in Bushikan. We're not excluding them from the competition, but you have to look at it like a jiu-jitsu tournament. Would a karate kid enter a jiu-jitsu tournament? Some will, but they cannot use their kicks or strikes. So obviously they're going to be a disadvantage and probably get taken to the ground in unfamiliar territory. In Bushikan, a grappler might be, all martial artists, I believe, do practice striking. And all martial artists should be sparring at some level in their gym. So all Bushikan is offering is a chance to spar on a bigger platform, a little bit more of a showcase. And also, Bushikan offers a scholarship program. Bushikan has a martial arts athletic scholarship. And the overall goal with our Bushikan Combat Sports Competition is to award young competitors scholarship funds. This way they can help them in their endeavors, whether it's paying their monthly dues at their gym or paying their rent or buying groceries. No one I know gets paid to spar. So I'm allowing you to come and spar and make some scholarship funds. You can represent your dojo, represent your style. There's a lot of incentive to compete for us and with us and grow with us. So
Grandmaster Juarez, I really like what you said. With the Bushikan Combat Sports, we're bridging that gap. We're filling in the space between professional fighting and amateur fighting. Like you said, there's a lot of times an amateur fighter will have a striking game down, but doesn't quite fit into the MMA or know how to transition, and vice versa with the grapplers and to stand up or striking. So this is a good medium at which to develop those skills in a, what have you, can I say, safe place. It's a good learning or proving ground, and that's what I like about Bushikan.
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned that there'll be some grappling for like 3 to 5 seconds. You can go to the ground. So this is a little bit more like judo, where if they don't see action for 5-10 seconds or something, then they're standing back up, and then you get back to more of the striking stuff.
Yes, sir. Kind of, when you fall to the ground now in a tournament, there's an immediate break or an immediate jumping in with the referee to, of course, get you up. That's also due to surfaces. Sometimes karate tournaments are on hard surfaces. They just don't really want you going to the ground. The more they adapt to these good rings that have a lot of cushion and safety for the fighters, they do tend to allow a little bit more sweeps and takedowns. All Bushikan is doing is we're not rushing in to stop the action, because there is ample time for a down fighter. For a fighter to be standing and a fighter to be down, the standing fighter can still score on the down fighter, whether it's an axe kick to the body or a couple of strikes to the body. They're not going to be allowed to hit the head of a target who's on the ground. However, the body is open. And again, what we're thinking here is you have 3 to 5 seconds to stand up. It's not about being down. It's about defending, maybe kicking up and catching the guy in the chest hard enough to push him away where you can get back to your feet. This also, because we will have grapplers in the competition, and this will keep it from them going to the ground and inviting you to the floor. This is not that competition. Now, I have nothing against jiu-jitsu. I did it for years. I supported it. I love MMA. I'm a big fan. But this is Bushikan combat sports. And these are different rules that have been established, not only for the safety of the fighter, but for the action that we want to see.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's totally understandable.
Yes, sir.
And what's the level of contact to be expected?
The level of contact is if you fought in continuous contact before, whether it's NBL or AOK, it's very similar to that. The only difference is the leg kicks can be, body and leg kicks can be pretty vicious, as far as to knock your air out. That's a pretty stunning blow. What we look for mostly in safety is those head strikes, because they are allowed to throw to the face, and they are allowed, to hit multiple times in a row. There is a rule in Bushikan where you cannot throw more than 3 consecutive strikes without a break or a kick being inserted, which is, I think, on all the continuous contact rules. You will not necessarily be disqualified because blood is caused in the ring. We understand sparring is a fighting sport. Sparring can be tough. The goal here is, in my day growing up, it was hard to get good sparring partners, because they're your friends. They're guys that you don't want to just destroy each other in sparring. And also in stand-up fighting training, a lot of fighters don't like to spar but maybe once a week, just due to the head trauma. So with Bushikan, you're going to get the best sparring, in my opinion, that you probably can find. You'll be fighting guys from other dojos that are doing similar things to you as far as their journey. I'm also hoping to see some exciting matches. Maybe a boxer or kickboxer comes out. Capoeira guys. I mean, this is sparring, in my opinion. This should bring back all types of martial arts willing to compete with each other under these rules, because it's safe and you're going to make some money. You're going to make some scholarship funds for yourself. You're going to represent your dojo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
I want to add to that, if I may. What I like about the Bushikan, that it's not regulated to a certain style, in point fighting. Sometimes it's regulated to a punch or a kick and they break it. So it's, it kind of favors sometimes you say the karate styles or whatever. But with continuous, you can be kung fu stylist. You can be Muay Thai stylist. And it's not, the rules don't affect your flow. So that's very important, that it doesn't affect your flow. So if you're a San Shao, this fits right in. Kung Fu, karate, taekwondo, all these styles fit into the continuous concept of this. And so it really allows a fighter to express with their own system or their own style. And that's what I like about the Bushikan.
yeah. Well, one of the limitations of point sparring that I find is it's basically the first 2 seconds of every fight, but that's it. And it's just mastering those first 2 seconds, which is definitely an important skill to have. But like you guys were saying, like, if you want to, fights usually last more than 2 seconds. And if you want to know the other parts of the fight, you got to do it continuously. So I totally agree.
So,
Yeah, so like Bushikan will be 6 1-minute rounds with 30-second breaks in between. Scoring will be 8 to 10, a 10 being a competitive or a dominant. If you're scoring a fighter and he seems to have been a dominant round for him, I would probably score a 10. If it was a competitive round, probably a 9. And if it was a non-competitive round, I'll probably have to give that fighter an 8. But it doesn't mean your next round will be an 8. You might start figuring out your fighter. You get a chance to feel him out, as you're talking about. You can wind him a couple times and he won't react the same when he's lost his air. Bushikan does have some rules to that effect. We do have a fighter can take a knee if he gets hit hard and he feels, rather than get scored on, take a knee, he'll get a standing 8 count. Bushikan has a yellow card system. So if a fighter was to take a second, they're allowed 2 knees in a match. Or if a fighter was to take a second knee in the same match, he would only get a standing 8 count and then be asked if he can continue. If he can, fight resumes. If a fighter was to take a third knee, he would be considered a yellow card foul. And that would be issued out as the first yellow card. If there were any other infractions before where there was a yellow card issued, that fighter would probably be disqualified. But the purpose of that is to allow the fighter to recover, not to fight under some conditions he may not want to be fighting under at the moment. It also allows, we also have a bow out. After taking a couple knees, if a fighter feels it's not going to be his day, he can bow out of the match. And again, this goes back to what we talk about in the traditional sense. There's no shame in bowing out. If you're outclassed and you're getting damaged, live to fight another day. And in extreme cases, of course, Bushikan might look at the situation and feel if they bowed out maybe too soon or they didn't give a good match, we'd have to assess that down the road. But that's there for the fighter. The referee may call an 8 count. He might see that you're rattled and stop time and come to you and assess you and make sure you're capable to continue. So there are, if you do excessive face contact, malicious, unsportsmanlike conduct, you could get issued a yellow card. And 2 yellow cards in any match disqualifies that opponent. It also takes away all your potential earnings for that event.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So is the idea that the contact is at the level it needs to be to simulate reality, but not such that you're trying to brutally maim or hurt other people? Is that kind of the...
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I mean, if you took your best friend into your gym and you guys put the headgear on, the Bushikan combat gear is the neoprene shin guards, and of course the 7-ounce MMA gloves that are rounded but still have the finger grips. So if you were to get with your best friend, go in the gym, put on your mouthpiece, your cup, put on your gear and your headgear, and you go have a good time sparring with each other, I'm pretty sure that's similar to what you're going to get out of Bushikan, except the fact that the competitive nature of combat sports is probably be very aggressive. Guys will go at it, but I'm hoping they stay within the parameters of our rules because this can be something that benefits all martial artists, young fighters. And we really just want to practice safety. So the rules are there for safety. Yeah. However, they are there to let you fight.
Yes, sir. If I can hop in, so you mentioned young fighters. I wanted to ask, what is the age range for Bushikan? And so, with our student body, when can we start talking to them about, all right, let's start getting prepared?
Okay. Bushikan Combat Sports is an amateur sparring league. Therefore, it allows 16 years old and up to compete in these competitions. 16 and 17, of course, would have to have parent consent or guardian.
Yes, sir.
However, they are eligible for the scholarship funds. We do try to do some events with AOK where we show up and we might put on a match or 2 just to get some exposure. In the future, as we grow with Bushikan, I'd like to have a division for 15 and under at the AOK events, where they can also earn scholarship money. And I think this would be exciting for parents down the road, because a lot of times you're putting out money to go to tournaments, where in Bushikan, for one, competitors do not pay to compete.
Yes, sir.
And at the AOK events, we'd like to, if we're giving out some scholarship funds for young competitors, it's just a way for the parents to get something back out of it, something for the kids,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. It's great. Tell me about knockouts and how that works with Bushikan.
Okay, with Bushikan, obviously there is no knockouts. However, we do know knockouts can happen. If a fighter will not be necessarily disqualified for the knockout, if it's, say, a jump spinning turn kick, it's in the action, it lands, and you get discombobulated, and the fighter cannot continue. We may not disqualify the fighter who threw in the technique. It's in the middle of action. We're talking about malicious acts, acts done out of anger. Very easily to see that you're out of control. Kicking against like a knee joint or a calf kick, something that's illegal, and you're just kind of doing it for an advantage in the fight. A lot of different things can happen that can lead to a fighter being open to get a shot that will put you down, and a lot of it starts sometimes with an illegal blow that leads to a head strike that will put you down. So we will be monitoring a lot of that for safety of the students. If a fighter does that, we not only would they be disqualified, may not ever fight that fighter again. The gym could get some repercussions, as far as we may not work with the gym. So there's a lot of potential there for that student to hurt their academy. So in our case, like we talked earlier today, I was going to be sending you the rules for combat. This way you guys can start really studying those rules. And we're open to any gym who'd like to be a part of what we're doing, us coming down and watching some sparring matches that you guys do under our rules. And there's some incentive there for any gym that invites us to do something like that.
Now, where are these competitions going to be principally held? Are they just at the AOK tournaments? It sounded like you had a bar potentially.
No, Bushikan last year we did a Omaha event with the Universal Martial Arts Hall of Fame and Professor Aguirre. We did finals matches over there, gave out some scholarships. We did with Abel. It was just a couple of tournaments. The way a Bushikan event works is light, middle, and heavyweight tournaments we do in one night. They're 4-man brackets, so competitors would fight in a semifinal to get to a final match every single time. If we offer cash scholarship award prizes for both first and second place. And we have a few locations that we've been working out. This is kind of what I've been doing the last year, is figuring out different venues that might like to host us and what we're doing. So I have the Taylor Mansion out in Taylor. Has a really good spot there that we'll be doing some shows down the road. For the meantime, I have Celis Brewery. It's located here off Metric, 10,001 Metric Boulevard in Austin, Texas. The Celis Brewery is an amazing site. We have a beer garden in the back that they're sponsoring us to come in and put on our first fight show there. So that's where you're going to find us next on July 28th. Looking for fighters right now to fill the card. Looking for competitors, looking for gym owners who like to get involved and see what we got going on. But in the future, we'll be moving around. But I do have a pretty good gig with Celis, as far as they're looking to pick me up for about 8 shows. So we're gonna be pretty busy with those guys there. But that wouldn't be the only place that we're doing competitions.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I know we have a lot of people from all over the country that are tuning into this channel, and specifically in other areas of Texas. So, I'd encourage them to get involved. Drive a couple hours, no big deal, to do a tournament with you guys.
So,
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, we're hoping, as Bushikan grows, a lot of awards and prizes will also grow. So we haven't seeked out sponsors yet. All of our social handles are currently under construction. So we're not easiest team to find at the moment, which is why we appreciate you giving us a little bit of a platform. But we're easy to reach, Bushikan 2024 at gmail.com. Anyone who wants information, just shoot us an email and you'll start receiving information about the Bushikan combat.
Nice. We'll put the link in this in the description of this video for anyone who wants to get involved. And do you have a website yet up, or?
Not currently. Yet, like as I said, we got a lot of things under construction. I'm a little new to all of the new social media, but I have a good team working on an Instagram account right now. I do have some Facebook Bushikan stuff from a while back, but we're trying to delete most of that. It's kind of a little bit of a pain, but we're trying to delete all of the old just so that we can have current information up.
Yes, sir.
So a lot of work going on the social media side. As soon as it's all out, we'll get it out to everybody.
Yes, sir. Let us know, and we'll get that added to this video as well, so people can connect with you.
yes, sir.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for telling us about the Bushikan. Is there anything that you would like our subscribers to know about, yourself or the Bushikan before we sign off? Any further questions, Mr. Trader?
I think most of the questions have been answered. We talked about age, we talked about when it's happening, where it's happening, why it's happening, which I think is great. I can say as a young instructor, I was able to compete this past Saturday in a Bushikan tournament, and I had a blast. We came out feeling, like Grandmaster World said, very good about the way that it was conducted, a lot of respect, that good discipline and good sportsmanship. And so just showing that traditional martial art, root all around was really great to see and be a part of. So
we're excited to get involved. We've been really looking for a competition circuit that would allow our students to grow as martial artists, where they can be doing the same stuff that they're doing on the mats here at the academy at an actual competition, and that it still feels like at the end of the day there's going to be some respect between the competitors, and we like what you guys are doing, so we'd like to keep involved with you guys. So please let us know all the tournaments that you have planned. We'll try to send you a couple of competitors and get this thing rolling.
Yes, sir.
Sounds great. I really like the fact that, with the Bushikan, because I've been competing tournaments all my years, and point fighting is one thing, is exciting, but you have to say it's a whole nother level when you're doing continuous.
Oh yeah.
And you're putting these rounds in, and people are getting into it. It brings things to a different level, brings a different flavor to the tournament. And, those competitors out there who, they may like point fighting, but they want a little bit more, Bushikan is for you. This is what it is.
yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And it's not something I necessarily bring up a lot unless I'm talking with a gym owner, but just for the gym owners out there who might be interested in Bushikan, there's an income generator there for your gyms and your academies. Once I start talking to some of other gym owners and yourself, I'll be able to lay out a lot more of what Bushikan has going on. But the big thing up front is the tournaments. We'd love to get those going. I'd love to have one a month. I have the means, I have the locations, just need the competitors and the gyms that want to be involved. So thank you so much for having us.
I just thought of this. You're going to be at the Fire Dragon Championship, right? You're going to be doing this again?
Yes, sir. We will be at Fire Dragon on July 28th. We will be doing maybe another 2 bracket tournament. So anyone who wants to register early for that The stipulations there are that you have to be registered in the Fire Dragon tournament
Yes, sir.
to compete in the Bushikan event. However, you do not need to pay to compete in Bushikan. And if you do compete for Bushikan that day, if I know ahead of time, I'll just write you in and fill my cards up. If I pick up a few fighters the day of the event, which we did Saturday just fine, I expect about the same thing. We'll be okay putting a bracket together and putting us another tournament on for the Fire Dragon. And there'll be some cash award prizes that we'll give out that day as well.
Grandmaster Juarez, I'm just verifying on the date because I know the Fire Dragon, I think that's July 20th. And then,
Yes.
Okay, because you said 28th.
July 20th is the Fire Dragon. Like I said, it's just to us having to do it with AOK holds Bushikan back just a little bit, but it's a good exposure for us. But the very next weekend, the July 28th, will be the first inaugural Bushikan event at the Celis Brewery. So we'll kind of have a back-to-back weekend event.
Yeah, no, that's
Yes,
great.
sir.
I mean, it's really cool of the AOK to let you guys get your feet in the door there. And I honestly think that's a great opportunity. It would be a pretty easy sell for us to go to support you guys at those AOK tournaments while competing ourselves. A lot of our students, they like the more introverted aspects of the martial arts, the forms and the weapons, and we try to be a place for all of that as well. And so, you know, maybe we can bring our team to some of these AOK events. Those that want to do the forms, the weapons, they can do it. But those that want to, you know, really take their sparring games to the next level can also stick around for some Bushikan.
Yes, sir. And you know, if Bushikan picks up, maybe one day we can have tournaments with all levels, all age groups, kata competitions, weapons competitions. I'm an old weapons competition champion, so I really love the beauty of martial arts when it can be displayed
Yes, sir.
in fantastic form.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You know, here's one thing that we've been talking about, but we're still working on the concept, is combat weapons fighting.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I have. Yeah, we got a lot of Bushikan's got a lot of layers.
Yes, I've seen some of this like night fighting. Have you guys seen that? Where
Yes,
like
sir.
Oh, yeah.
light mail and they got their swords. That at a brewery would be pretty intense. People would be up off their seats. Get to like full plate now. That would be really cool. Anyway, I'll leave you guys to ponder those thoughts. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Wishing you guys
Thank you for having me.
and we'll talk to you guys again here pretty soon, I think. If you enjoyed that podcast, please consider liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, as well as hitting the notification bell. We offer in-person, group, and private lessons at our facility in Kyle, Texas, as well as virtual lessons anywhere in the world. If you'd like to learn more about our programs, you can find us online at risingphoenixtkd.com.